Good morning from the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living. So happy you have joined us today. We have a fun Sunday because it's all live in the room today. It's been a while since we've had one of those services, and just so much to share with you today. We're so glad you're joined in. We want to start with a little music. Bodhi Setchko is here. I'm going to turn it over to him for our opening chant here.
Come, whoever you are, this caravan knows no despair. Come, whoever you are, come. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, come. Even if you've broken your vow, perhaps 1,000 times. Come, whoever you are, come. The words are on the screen if you'd like to join us. Come, whoever you are. This caravan knows no despair. Come, whoever you are, come. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, come. Even if you've broken your vow, perhaps 1,000 times. Come, whoever you are, come.
Thank you so much, Bodhi. Beautiful, beautiful song. Way to open us up at this sacred time we have. And we just want to welcome all of you right where you are and bless you, knowing that Spirit is right where you are. So we raise our hands to simply say, we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community. And so it is. And we also like to repeat our vision and mission statement. We are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission statement: we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. A glorious affirmation for this morning. Before we begin with the regular part of our service, I just want to give you a few announcements today to let you know a few things going on. First of all, we're changing the Zoom community meeting we have after our service a little bit. We'll still have time to check in with each other, but we also want to create a conscious conversation about the service we just had, about the 40 days of spiritual practices that we've started, and to talk about how we can emerge stronger, brighter, and wiser, as well as the section of these 40 days called Preparing the Way. And now, if you've already been part of receiving the emails about the 40 days of spiritual practices, I hope you're taking advantage of that, because it really sets up an intentional spiritual practice we have just to dive deeper into our relationship with Spirit and practical applications in the world. And you can either receive those. If you receive our regular email, you'll get the 5 different emails with the 5 sections of it. Or if you want daily emails, you can go on our website to sign up for the daily emails. Either way, I encourage you to be a part of these. And as I mentioned, our conscious conversation after the service will be about this as well, or anything from our guest speaker, what he brings about today. And to give you some excitement about that, Luchan Baker is our guest speaker today, and he's an energetic, motivated, powerful man. And so there may be a lot to talk about what he talks about today. So enjoy us for that. This is the last week to sign up for the new course called Practical Mysticism that I'm teaching. We're going to go through a journey of looking at the wisdom that came from the mystics, as well as finding ways to apply it in our daily lives. I hope you're able to join us for that. There's a link online to join it. And we're going to have it's going to be a small enough class where we're going to have a really good discussion about these mystics and about our lives and applications for it. And then also something exciting starting next Sunday. After this service, Imelda Gomez is going to be leading a Spanish-speaking services. And we're just so happy that she's able to do this and provide these services for people whose native language is Spanish. And we're going to just support her in prayer and just be loving of her in this new creative aspect, a new expression that she's doing. And then also last week I talked about Sister Spirit a little bit. You saw a video from Michelle last week, and I want to bring up Branessa Kunitz that is going to be speaking about it, because she's part of this planning team along with Michelle. So I'm going to let her speak about it.
Thank you. Am I on? Yes, always on. Especially talking about Sister Spirit. I love Sister Spirit. I started attending in 2015. It transformed my life every year. Something big shifted. It's not just true for me. It's true for the 80 plus women who attended every year. They hold their vacation time to attend. And this year we can all attend because it will be virtual for the first time ever. The theme is, I just lost my place on my phone, Inspired Reinvention, Limitless Recreation. I should know that by heart because I'm on the leadership team. But you know how it is. But I really invite you, all you ladies, to come and join us. It's always an uplifting, transformative soul care time for all of us. And the music is going to be amazing. We have Ricky Byers, we have Amy Steinberg, and Faith Rivera. Like, that is the dream team's dream come true, and we all get to be a part of it. So I hope that you join us, and the early bird registration ends today. So check us out online.
Right. Thank you, Branessa. And it's an exciting time, because usually this is a much more expensive retreat because of lodging and things like that. And this year you're able to do it all virtually. So it's a way to understand the value and the wisdom of the Sister Spirit retreats. So I'm so excited. I really encourage you to be a part of that as well. I also wanted to let you know this service today, we have all live music, live speakers, everything is live, and it gives me that sense of when we're going to be able to start services again, which is going to be soon. So we're preparing the courtyard for to have these outdoor services in person starting in May, providing the guidelines of the government, of the state and federal and local county governments are that's in compliance with it. But right now it is, and I think there's a divine timing to it, and I think May is going to be when we're ready for that. May come earlier, but we're going to build towards May on that. So if you want to be a part of helping create the courtyard to make it look beautiful and ready for these services, there's a form online to sign up to volunteer. You can come on your own time. We'll be able to give you a task. It doesn't have to be at a certain time. So we really appreciate you being a part of that. A couple other things I want to let you know about is that I have virtual office hours now because we're still wanting to have precautions with all of the health precautions that are currently going on right now. And so I'm doing virtual appointments, and you can find the link of that. I emailed it out last week, but I'll email it out this week, or you can call the office to receive it from Mary, because it's primarily for members that I have this service available, people who attend regularly at our services. So that's why it's not listed on the website per se, but you can get it from Mary. And then also we have our weekly meditation that we do every week in English and Spanish. We're also doing a Zoom chat right after the meditation that pertains to the 40 days of spiritual practices. So the link for that is on our webpage, and you can join us to be a part of the meditation on Zoom and then stay on it for discussion about the 40 days of spiritual practice. That's enough announcements for now, I believe. Now we're going to begin the sacred part of our service, and back to Bodhi for
Good morning, Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Branessa Kunitz, and I'm your practitioner today. I haven't been in this role in a moment, being the prac of the day, but I want to open us up with prayer. So I just invite you to settle yourself where you are and close your eyes if that's how you pray. Oh, yes. As sure as the sun was out shining brightly today, that's just how much Spirit is shining itself right here, right now. Shining itself, its light in the faces of everyone here on this day. Shining its light in, through, and as you right now. And definitely shining its light in, through, and as my brother, Luchan Baker. I speak my word this morning, knowing that our service is blessed. It's full to overflowing with goodness and light and fun and high vibrations. And I speak my word for Luchan, knowing that he is at peace, while also being totally lit up with the fire of spirit in his belly, using him as a vessel for good. And I'm so grateful to be sharing this space with everyone here, and especially him on this day, for his grandmother is like my grandmother. Yes, I braided her hair. This is a blessing for me on this day. And so I already know that there's a party happening in here. That's why everyone is here live, because Spirit wanted to have even more fun today. And so I'm so grateful to be present. I'm so grateful for the high vibration flowing through you and through all of us right here and right now. And so I give thanks for this time, knowing that it is blessed. And so it is. We'll just have a moment of silence. Thank you. Well, as your prac of the day, I get to give an insight talk. So I was thinking how to make this more personal than just me sitting up here preaching to you, which I love to do. But I used to believe that I was all that I had. Coming up with my experiences, I felt that I could only rely on myself. My father was killed when I was 6. By the time I was in 6th grade, my mother was addicted to drugs. She was bipolar manic. So anytime there was stability in my life, it somehow, some way got uprooted abruptly. And so maybe it was already part of my nature to have an independent streak, but it definitely became a part of my nature because of the lack of nurturing. So I knew that I could only convince myself that I could only rely on myself. And so my path to freedom at the time was informed by my circumstances. It was informed by trauma and childhood experiences of police being called to our house because my mom was gone for long periods of time. It was that type of upbringing, but you couldn't tell me that at the time because I used all of those experiences to push me and propel me forward. See, I was being pushed by pain instead of pulled by a vision, as Michael Beckwith likes to talk about. And so I was relying on my own willpower. I was relying on external things like accolades. I went on to UC Berkeley. I had 2 kids as a teenager. I've been living on my own since 17. But all of that stuff informed me. It pushed me. It helped me to strive. It really did give me fuel. I mean, what a great motivator, right? To not want to be like what I came from. But when I found Science of Mind teachings, that was a freedom that I didn't even know. I was searching for a certain type of freedom from my past experiences, but I didn't know this sweet type of freedom that was available to me by turning my path inward. And I'm so grateful for Science of Mind teachings. I'm so grateful for my first teacher, Luchan's grandma, the Reverend Eloise Oliver, because that's where I got to discover who I am and whose I am and what I really am. And the truth of the matter is that I was never alone. I will never be alone. I don't have to be so self-reliant because there's, I don't know if you all remember that old Nestea commercial where they just would fall back in the pool and there was no one there to catch them, but that water was. And what is water but spirit, right? Spirit is always there to catch me, always available, always responsive. And so now I know something else. Now I get to share a different type of news. I don't have to keep telling the story about grit and determination and willpower to get me through. Now I get to talk about my God. I get to talk about this responsive power that dwells in me, that dwells in you, and that is always available. So I'm free any moment I choose to be free. I get to relax and still create. I get to go within, be motivated by the Spirit, the power of God within me. And somehow in that being, somehow in the stillness, I still create, I still achieve my goals. I get to set my intention and create a reality that I love. From stillness, sometimes it really is miraculous. That's why I say it like that. From stillness, like, wow, yes. Someone told me, one of my teachers, there is doing in the being. And now I know that to be true for myself. By turning in, tapping in, tuning in, and aligning with the Spirit within me, I am free. I am free to create a life I love. I am free to be at peace. I am free to share my story, no longer from a place of pain. It's from a place of knowing that my story is my ministry. So I share that with you today because I get this moment to go a little more personal and let you know why I'm so lit up and on fire about my God, as I call it, because I know how it has transformed my life. And I call these Science of Mind teachings the gift that keeps on giving. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of reason why I feel so strongly about how I believe and what we teach here. So I thank you for listening. I do feel free, and I am grateful to be alive. Thank you.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, that's so amazing. There is being in the doing. There is doing in the being. And sometimes on our journey to freedom, we have dark days. And yet we keep the vision alive by following the call from within that we hear and feel. Oh, when darkness comes over you and the struggle has blocked your view, all your people are far away, and your life feels like a masquerade. You got to follow. You got to follow the call. You got to follow the call. Well, every answer is usually hidden inside a question, often forbidden. Seek direction from the wind. Trust your nature and look within. You got to follow. Follow the call. You got to follow the call. You've got to follow the call. You've got to follow the call. You've got to follow the call. Follow the call. It's on. How do I put the darkness comes over you, and the struggle has blocked your view, seek direction from the wind. Trust your nature and look within. You've got to follow. Follow the call. 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 You've got to follow. Follow the call.
Thank you, Bodhi. Thank you, Bodhi. You're such a great musician that even when we can't hear your guitar, virtually, we know that it's playing. So thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of that. And following the call is important. I want to introduce our guest speaker today, Luchan Baker, and he is following the call. He's doing just that. He is currently in the School of Spiritual Leadership here at Napa Valley and is the youth director at the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, a practitioner, of course. And also, this ministry is in his blood. You heard Branessa talk about his grandmother, Reverend E, as she's called. She's your grandmother, but really a lot of people have adopted her as a grandmother, that she has been a guiding light particularly in the Bay Area of religious science and science of mind. And so it's great to have this lineage continued with a passion and enthusiasm. So let's welcome Luchan.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So, journey to freedom. Many thoughts come to my mind when I hear these words. I'll start with the obvious one. Are we talking about freedom, or are we talking about the journey? Journey. Well, not only is it one awesome band, I know I'm not the only one. The journey is what we are all here for. When I say we, I mean us spiritual beings having a human experience. We are here for the journey. That's what we signed up for. As we experience this journey, we must ask ourselves, the journey to what? Well, universally, we are all in pursuit of the same thing. Some call it God, some call it divine happiness, a relationship, a career, prosperity. We are all universally in pursuit of the same thing. This same grandmother we speak of, Reverend E, used to always tell me to seek the path of God first. And all that I'm looking for, I will find along that path. I believe it is Matthew 6:33, where they say, "But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." Well, that translated to me a bit different because the first time I heard that, I was a very young man. I was in pursuit of prosperity. I was in pursuit of getting respect. I was in pursuit of learning what it meant to be a young man in this world and what it meant to be successful. That's what I was looking for. So when I hear of this kingdom of heaven, I'm believing that it is something outside myself. Yes, even though I was raised in the science of mind, I had this belief that this kingdom of heaven, this path, this journey was something I needed to seek outside myself. Somehow I got this message misconstrued. Somehow I was believing what was not actually the context of this message. I had to go deeper. When we talk about God and all these things we seek, what I had to learn through experience, through so many trials and tribulations, is that this same kingdom we're talking about is simply just a file in our consciousness that we have access to at any time we want. When we talk about this path, all of us, I'll speak for myself, excuse me, I believed that along this path was just butterflies and rainbows and happiness and romper room songs. This is what I was believing along that path. Nobody told me I was going to skin my knees. Nobody told me that I would get flat tires on this path, that there'd be potholes, that there'd be all these things along this path. I was asked recently in class that if God exists and God wants us to be happy, then how come bad things happen to good people? It took me many years to understand that though we are spiritual beings having this human experience, and what comes with those human experiences is pain, is uncomfort, that God is what we all are. And in God, God is bigger than our human experience. Yes, you will cry. Yes, you will be afraid. And yes, all of it will still be awesome. There is no you and God. There is only God. Now, sometimes that's empowering hearing those words. But then there's the other side of it. So you mean that annoying coworker I have, that's God too? You mean that relationship I experienced that was not at all pleasant, that was also God? You mean my children lying to me and sneaking candy in the middle of the night when I told them not to? That's also God? Yes, it is. And where we find our freedom is when we accept that all of it is God. I didn't always understand that this journey that we all signed up for, this thing, this energy, this experience itself is the blessing. I thought the blessing was along the road. I wasn't even aware that the road itself was literally just a choice and a file in my consciousness. I did not know that it was the journey itself that is the blessing. But see, I can only have that blessing if I'm present for it. I can't receive in the past. I can't receive in the future. So that means while I'm thinking about that career that I want so much, while I'm thinking about this, while I'm thinking about that relationship, I must stay present in order to receive it. I've realized that oftentimes all those things were waving at me. Hey, I'm right here, and I could not see it because I was too far ahead or I was too far in the past. But we know that the future never comes, and the past is gone forever. All we have is right now. The journey is freedom. In fact, the only way to have freedom is to be present for the journey. Now, let's just explore a little bit of what our homie Ernest Holmes has to say about freedom. Page 26, paragraph 1. We do well to listen to this inner voice, for it tells us of a life wonderful in its scope, of a love beyond our fondest dreams, of a freedom which the soul craves. Page 46, chapter 3. It should be considered right to live and enjoy living, to be well, happy, and to express freedom is to be in accord with divine law and wisdom. I love how Ernest just breaks it down and makes it simple. But I have to admit, when I am deciding to make it complicated, when I am complicating, when I am adding my own humanness to the simplification of God, and I hear Ernest break it down so simple, sometimes it gets a little nerve-wracking. That's when I realize how I'm complicating things. It's nothing until we give it a name. We are the umpires of our lives. Right now, where you sit, the universe is boundless no matter where you look. There are no bounds to the universe. No matter how far you look this way or any way, the universe is endless forever and ever expanding. What does that mean? That means that right now, where you sit, you are at the center of your universe and you are calling the shots. You are the quarterback. No matter how much you fight against it, you are calling the shots. This is our freedom. This is where we get to realize that each and everything we want in life, wish is our command. I remember going to Revelations as a little boy, and I watched Iyanla Vanzant talk about how life is a marathon. She talked about how in this marathon, there'll be many of things for us to trip over. There are hurdles, but more than hurdles, there are dips in this road. There are cracks in the ground. There are somebody's cleats, somebody's dirty laundry. So many obstacles are along this marathon, and we all trip occasionally. The only thing different is some trip and get right back up. Some of us will trip over that hump and stay there and talk about the hump. We'll curse the hump. We'll wait for others to trip over the hump so we can ask them to stay with us at the hump, and we can start a little group about that hump we all tripped over. Oh, we all do it. I thought about my own life and the humps I've tripped over. I've thought about that time where in my life when I split from my son's mother, and even though I was a dedicated and loving parent like I am still to this day, I was still taken to family court and embarrassed and talked so harshly about. I thought about that pain. It controlled all I talked about. No matter what party you brought me to, that was always the subject I came there with. And finally, I remembered this story that Iyanla talked about how everyone has their story and how life is a marathon and not a race. I thought about that. I thought about how it was weighing me down, how I couldn't quite run properly because the weight of this story was keeping it too difficult for me to continue on with my marathon. Yes, everyone has a story, and we all have a right to tell our story. You get to tell your story. Matter of fact, don't even tell it to me. I'm on your side. I trust you. How dare them? Those player haters, them. How could they have done you like that? See, I agree with you. I'm on the same side of you. You can have your story. But you can also be free from it. Unfortunately, You can't have both. You can't. I've tried. You can't have both. You are bigger than your story. You always were. And you get to have it. You get to carry it. You get to nurture it. You get to show it to whoever you want. But if we go deeper, and I'm just assuming this for you, I don't think you really want to carry that story. That's not really what you want. What you want is to be free from it. You're ready to put it down. You're ready to keep on running in this marathon. That's what I believe. I'm sorry, maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that you know you are bigger than your story. Shout out to Nipsey Hussle. The marathon continues. We all have our story. We have to go deeper and remember that in order to put down our story, in order to keep on running, in order to put that baggage down, we have to deal with the F word. I'm going to say it. I'm sorry. I have to. None of us like forgiveness. We don't. I mean, let's just be honest. Forgiveness is the hardest part of this whole thing. I used to believe that forgiveness was letting the other person off the hook. I used to believe that forgiveness, that was me punking out. You want me to forgive? No, I'm not forgiving. I'm not forgiving anything. I realize now, no. Forgiveness is the most gangster thing you can do. Forgiveness isn't letting them off the hook. It's letting you off the hook. Forgiveness is saying, listen, I am giving myself permission to not be a part of the drama. I'm sorry, but I got a marathon to run, but you can stay here if you like. There is nothing more gangster than forgiveness. In Oakland, MC, from the legendary hieroglyphics crew by the name of Casual, said, I'm dangerous like stepping on a gangster's shoes. But hold up. He rewound that and said, but a real boss would be like, man, I got plenty of those. There is nothing more gangster than forgiveness. However, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. But not forgiving only creates more baggage. And we all know what Erykah Badu said about baggage. Bag lady, you gonna hurt your back dragging all them bags like that. How you gonna run a marathon and you're weighed down by baggage? This is the journey. Forgiveness is freedom. It's freedom. There is no greater freedom than forgiveness. What we are mad at in the forgiveness, in this I don't feel like forgiving attitude, what we get from grudges is disappointment. That's what the theme is. But let's be honest. Disappointment is a good thing. Disappointment is positive. Let's just break down what disappointment is. First of all, the only person we're ever disappointed in is ourselves anyway. We may think we're disappointed in the other person, but we're really disappointed in ourselves for putting ourselves in that situation. It is great that you are disappointed because that means that in your heart, you know that you can do better. You know you can do better, which is why you're disappointed, which means that you know within you, you have the capacity to do better. Or else, why would you even be disappointed in the first place? We all know people who were never disappointed. We know those people. You're not one of those people. That's why you allow yourself to be disappointed, because you know you have within you the will to elevate beyond the experience you're having. Which means the disappointment is a good thing. Let's love our disappointment. Let's be thankful for this disappointing moment. This is the marker. This is where we know we're at. This is how we get to say, I am working today to make sure this does not happen again. Let's talk about growth. It is uncomfortable. It is outright painful. When in your life have you had a growth experience that was not painful? The pain is the best part. But we can only get there when we accept all of it as God. That is freedom. Now, to those of you who may be new to Science of Mind, this next statement is not for you. But for those of us who have enough experience in this philosophy, cut it out. Cut it out. Stop it. You know better. Matter of fact, stop beating yourself up for anything you have been through. I don't think you give yourself enough credit. Look at what you've been through. Look at how much they doubted you. Look at where you are today. Look at how beautiful you are. You don't have the view I have. I am looking at all these faces of God in front of me, and it is amazing. If you knew what I knew, if you saw what I do, you would stand up right now and give yourself a standing ovation. You deserve it. Let's stop looking at the past. Let's stop only being right now in this moment. Everything is beautiful. You can't have a better moment than this. This is what Eckhart Tolle talked about in The Power of Now. That book changed my life. You can't have anything when you're over here or over here. Only in this moment, this beautiful moment, no matter how painful, no matter how uncomfortable it may seem to you, it is the greatest moment of your life. That's where our power is. This is where our freedom is. This is that journey. And the journey itself is the blessing. That means that though I may be pursuing something bigger in my experience, what I want right now is already mine. You don't necessarily want those rims on your car. You just like the feeling that those rims give you, but you can have that feeling right now. I'm talking to myself here. I'm going to break it down for the millennials right quick. Every now and then, your device, consciousness, receives an update, expansion, from the cloud, which is the universe. And of course, we know all these things are connected. But in order to receive this update, it requires us to be still and to download the new information. When we ignore this download, down the line, it can cause us to crash. Let's simplify. Let's close all those windows. Let's stay present. Let's let that new information download into our system. Let's stop asking why me? Why not you? You've been chosen. I'm sorry, but you are great. You don't get to be normal. I'm sorry. If you are hearing these words, if you are in this philosophy, if you are experiencing this thing called life right now in this moment, you don't get to be normal. I'm sorry. I've tried too. You are great, greater than you can even imagine. And that is why you have been chosen. And the path is scary. The path is outright terrifying. But let's just be honest. There are a reason why amusement parks and scary movies sell, because we like that excitement. Stop fronting. You love it. Let's accept it. Let's embrace it. Let's just have fun. This is freedom. You know, I look at my son, I have a 2-year-old, and I look at him and when he's singing too loudly or when he's playing with his toys a little too rough, it is always in me to make him want to stop. But what I realize is you're just jealous because you can't do it. I keep trying to do this happiness thing and look cool at the same time. First of all, let me just tell you, I've been attempting to be cool my whole life. Haven't quite made it there yet, but eventually I'll get there. But one thing I do know, real happiness doesn't look cool. Real happiness does not look cool. Have you seen somebody win a championship? Remember Shaq's first ring? Biggest, scariest, meanest dude on the team, and he broke down crying. That is beautiful. Have you seen somebody win a gold medal? Did you see when Buster Douglas beat Tyson and his mother had died right before it happened? This is what the happiness I'm talking. It does not look cool. I'm talking about crying and jumping up and down and singing off key. And oh my God, that is freedom. Not everybody can sing like Bodhi. But what you can do is sing with such freedom and presence that he has. You can do that. It might not sound like him, but who cares? Are you trying to be happy or are you trying to look cool? Real happiness doesn't look cool. I got to remember that sometimes when I'm commuting into work, and sometimes I see that bus that'll get me to where I need to go, but I mean, I'm dressed fly. I don't want to run. I'm going to sweat. What if I trip? Everybody on the bus is going to see that I'm that guy who ran for the bus. So when the bus leaves, and now I realize, wow, you got a whole nother 7 blocks to walk uphill in this heat which means you're still going to be sweaty and musty when you get to the office. All you had to do was right there in that moment, accept that your happiness was right there at that bus and run to it. Why are we playing? Why are we acting like we don't know exactly what it is we need to do? I'm talking to myself again, excuse me. But I think that because we're all laughing right now, we're all on the same page and know that when we say, I don't even know what to do. Yes, you do. You just don't want to do it. You know. I don't want to do it either, but we all know what it is we need to do. This is freedom. This is that journey. This is that inner happiness that we already have. The pain is part of it, and it is all God. We came here by pain. If you don't believe me, ask your mama. The universe only knows one word. No matter what we think, no matter what we say, no matter what we don't say, no matter what we do, no matter what we don't do, everything is a prayer. Everything is an affirmation. Everything. And the universe only says yes. That means that we get to accept all in our life, and it doesn't mean anything until we tell the universe what we want it to mean. That dude just cut me off. That means I'm going to have a bad day. Yes. Or that dude just cut me off. That's another reason to laugh. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. I didn't even realize the dude cut me off because I'm so fully in the presence of God right now that all I assume is that anything that happens to me is for my greater good. Oh, my goodness. Comedian Dion Cole said he gives God the glory for everything, no matter how terrible it is. He said he was on a date one time and forgot his wallet. Thank you, God. Because now we get to see just how down she really is. Let's just know that there is nothing that can happen in our lives that is not for the greater good of our experience. Do we believe or do we believe? When we say God is all there is that just a cliche thing to say? I mean, I'll admit sometimes it is, but it is the truth. So I have to remember that when I'm just saying God is all there is, when I'm being dismissive and don't want to hear your problems on the phone, that guess what? The universe is going to remember, hey, you said God is all there is, so just check this out down the line, all right? At the end of the day, the ultimate freedom is a light heart. Keeping our heart light is the ultimate freedom. How do I know? I have friends doing time right now. Some may never get out. Yet every picture I see them in, they're smiling and looking happy. I have to remember that when I don't feel like standing in line and putting a mask on to go to Safeway. I have to remember that when there's so many things I complain about, yet these men are in jail and some are never coming home, yet they are more free than I am in their pictures. We all know who Mumia Abu-Jamal is. He has told his followers time after time, stop worrying about me. They are never letting me out. But one thing I see in this man's face is he is always smiling, every picture. He continues writing books. He continues allowing the presence of God to move through him. That cannot be taken from you. I don't care where you are taken. Freedom is a choice. Freedom is a decision. Freedom is a file in our mind. We can be free whenever we want to. I know plenty of people who have all the physical freedom you can want in life. They are miserable. They are caged in by their thoughts and their refusal to let go of things and to forgive. That is not freedom. Just like my grandmother, I'm an Oliver. I have a motor mouth, so I may go over time. Just kind of let me know if I'm talking. I'm feeling the energy up here. And something I have to say is I came here very nervous and very afraid. I came here like, oh my goodness, this is my teacher, Reverend Jay's church, and I have to bring it. I came here with a separate idea that I was someone from the outside coming in here. And only within 3 seconds of me being here, I realized, no, fool, you home. But I wouldn't have gotten that had I came in here with that nervous energy. And no, embrace all of it. There is nowhere you can be that's not your home. I had an audition back in the day. This is when I was still an acting geek. And the audition was in San Francisco, and I'm from Oakland. Now, due to a lot of the 80s drug wars, it just, you couldn't be from Oakland and just be in certain neighborhoods of San Francisco and vice versa. Like, that just was not okay. I have to give a lot of love to the hipsters and gentrifiers. Y'all made it okay for me to just go back and forth to San Francisco like that. That wasn't okay back in the day. And so the director of the production was very clever because he knew if I knew where this actually was, I probably wouldn't have gone to the audition. So he says, yeah, well, just call me when you get off BART and I'll tell you what bus to catch. All right, yeah, I'm at the bus now. Now what? Okay, you catch the bus that takes you down 3rd. Okay, where do I get off at? You get off on Newcomb. Okay. 3rd and Newcomb? Wait, I'm going to Hunters Point? Everyone on the bus is laughing at me because they heard the conversation. Well, I'm already too far to turn back. So I have to go. And let me remind you that I was dressed like I was going to an audition. And I'm just looking at everything. There's so many people out, and I've heard the stories. And okay, Oakland has projects, but these are projects. Oh my God. And just everyone's everywhere and it's loud. And all I could do was go within and allow Spirit to guide me. And so I get off the bus and I'm feeling the tension. And I knew enough to not get off the bus looking tough. You don't want to do that. But we all know that you also don't want to get off the bus looking frightened. And so God said, smile and act as if you belong there, because you do. And so I smiled and I acted as if I belonged there. I smiled like I was from Hunters Point. I literally enjoyed the moment and stayed in the now. Trust me, all kinds of things were going on that I could have been afraid of. I chose not to see it. And that was where our rehearsal was for the entire production. And not once did I have a bad experience. I decided that neighborhood was bad. I allowed the race consciousness of what was said about that to affect me. But in truth, I get to have my own experience. I get to decide what my experience is. That's the freedom we're talking about. The freedom to decide what experience you are going to have. In Pratt class, another teacher of mine, who was Greg Toole, talked about a time where he went to the gym to play basketball. And this gym in Oakland, Club One, this is where the best ballers in the city come to play. And he was not doing that well at all. And he was getting very frustrated with himself because he really wanted to play with these guys and become a better ball player. And, he started Monday by I think he said Saturday, he's still there. And they're picking teams. And as soon as Greg walks up, one of the guys says, what are you doing here? You can't play. And he said he started to get angry. It really hurt him that he said that, but he realized, wait a minute, he's only saying what I'm feeling and thinking about myself anyway, or else I wouldn't even heard it. Imagine me walking up to Michael Jordan and saying, you're not even all that good of a ball player anyway. He would laugh at me. He would probably give me a free pair of shoes. Like, you know what? I like you. You just made my day. We get to accept or say no, thank you. We get to make the choice if we're going to be free or be imprisoned by our false thoughts and beliefs. Shout out to Harriet Tubman in honor of Black history for showing my ancestors the first step in being free. See, what we forget is that woman also carried a gun with her. Now, it might be, a good fantasy to believe that the gun was in case the slave owners came and saw them along the trail, but no, that little revolver wasn't going to kill all of them. That gun was for something else. Just in case any of you get butterflies and decide you want to go back to what you thought was home, yeah, that's not going on. I'm sorry. You will be free today, but you get to decide how you want to be free. Let's talk about it right now. This is the freedom I'm talking about. It's okay to be afraid, but if fear is the only reason, that's not a good enough reason. Napa Valley, thank you so much for having me and welcoming me home.
I don't know about you, but I've been to church today. Thank you so much. Beautiful inspiration, beautiful stories. We will have you back. We appreciate your wisdom today. So thank you so much, Luchan. So now we have another song from Bodhi, and he's going to come up here and sing. I'm going to bring it here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring it around here. We,
1, 2, are we there? Are we in? Can you hear me? Yeah, how about the guitar? All right, freedom. Well, I always wondered why I was never very cool. I was too happy. That's an interesting perspective. Happiness isn't cool. You got to work for sure. Do I have the soul of a free man or the soul of a slave? Will I be satisfied with my life as I live it when I go to the grave? Will I search for the truth now? Will I walk it when I find it? Or will I teach my children to do the same? Or will I try to hide it? Freedom, talking about freedom. I've been freedom, talking about freedom, oh yeah. Do I understand the Constitution? Do I know the Bill of Rights? Is my natural born human freedom something for which I have to fight? I said, who gave the government permission to determine the course of my life? I can feel a change breaking through the darkness. We're guided by an ancient light. And I said, freedom, whoa, whoa, freedom, freedom, talk about freedom. Now I appreciate the opportunities this country gives me every day. I have so many choices. With gratitude I greet each day and listen to the world around me. Still I hear a choir of hungry voices. But if I am to make a change, I must start deep inside. And as I progress along the road, I realize there's nowhere to hide. I'm talking about freedom. I'm talking about freedom. freedom, freedom. Talking about freedom. I said freedom.
Yay.
That's when the big drums
That's
go
right.
and the flashing lights happen.
Thank you so much, Bodhi. What a great, and it is the road to freedom that we're on today that we can continue to expand and love. I will tell you, one of my greatest joys is so if you don't know, I'm the Dean of the School of Spiritual Leadership here in Napa Valley, is seeing our ministers grow and evolve and express what is truly theirs. And if there's any concern about the future of Signs of Mind, let me let you know we're in great hands. So you heard Branessa this morning, you heard Luchan, and then Georgia, I haven't seen her in front of the screen yet, but all three of them are ministerial students, and they're just part of the program. It's just a great way to see the evolution of new ministers. So you'll hear more from all of them. And so glad you joined us today. So I also want to lift up you who have been contributing, whether it's time, talents, or financial blessings as representative. This sharing of abundance plate I have before me, because I know most of your contributions are coming electronically or you're sending in the mail. We appreciate all of them. So we just lift you up with the affirmation and knowing that which you give circulates and comes back to you in many blessings. So we simply say, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am and all that I have and all that I circulate. We also give blessings out to our children and families out there. This has been quite a year. And I know kids are starting to go back to school now at different times in different ways. And we just bless and know that they are safe in all ways and the families continue to thrive right where you're at. So we just raise our hands and we simply say, we love you, we care about you, and we're here for you. So thank you very much. And finally, we have an affirmation, that our community affirmation, but also join us for the Zoom afterwards. I'll make sure we have Luchan and Branessa both can join us on the Zoom so that you can ask him questions or Branessa questions or comments. And I'll make sure they're on there. And Bodhi might be able to join us too for a few moments. So repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
I am led by Spirit.
I am led by Spirit.
I am guided by wisdom.
I am guided by wisdom.
I am protected by love.
I am protected by love.
I am here to be a blessing.
I am here to be a blessing.
I am so grateful.
So grateful.
And so it is.
Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bodhi. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Luchan. Thank you, Branessa. Thank you, everybody. As we go forward, we know that in this marathon of life, that all the obstacles are cleared out of the way as we move forward in the light. And so it is.